What's good, guys? It's Batman, and we're doing a reaction. We're gonna change it up this time. It's gonna be a DC slash Marvel video, but it's a versus battle setup, kind of a cross-verse battle, and it's basically about Superman versus Ghost Rider, who would win. It's by one of the big YouTubers called Dynco. He basically does tons and tons of versus battles, basically any topics you can think of, whatever you name it, regardless if you like the guy or not. That's what he's known for and what he does, and we're going to be checking him out. And as always, guys, in any reaction that I do, make sure to check him out, give him all love and support, and you won't be disappointed if you are a fan of many verses in that of them potentially being able to interact in the hypothetical scenarios of what would even occur if they were to fight and so on and so forth. So that's what we're going to be getting into. It's about Superman versus Ghost Rider. Both characters are awesome characters. Ghost Rider is really cool. He's like a supernatural entity and looks really badass, his fires and all that, and it has some correlation to Mephisto and all that, whatever, in the supernatural world. While Superman, let's be real, everybody basically knows Superman at this point, but he's basically an alien Kryptonian that's really powerful. So we're gonna get into it. So let's see what happens.
Man, the big blue Boy Scout. The one hero who is always doing the right thing, is the true embodiment of good, and is always looking for the good in others. The Ghost Rider is the spirit of vengeance, the embodiment of hellish justice, always looking to punish people for their evil. Now, I've actually done a video already on Superman versus Cosmic Ghost Rider, the Punisher as both Ghost Rider and a Herald of Galactus. Today is going to be a little different because we'll be using the original Ghost Rider from the main Marvel Universe, Earth 616. Now, for this video, we'll primarily be focusing on Johnny Blaze as the host, but I might use some examples from other Ghost Rider hosts for powers that are intrinsic for every Ghost Rider, like Hellfire or the Penance Stare. And as for Superman, well, the current Superman in DC Rebirth is actually a combination of post-crisis Superman merging with the New 52 Superman, so that's the version we'll be using. They're two completely different characters and have two completely different power sets, but they're both some of the most powerful heroes in their respective universes. And so, in a fight, who would win? What's up, guys? I'm Daniel, and this is Danco. We do fight break while his powers are pretty much physical. Super strength, super speed, super durability, and based on his physiology and exposure to the yellow sun. And Superman's got pretty much as much strength, speed, and durability as it takes to beat the bad guy and save the day. In fact, authors like Grant Morrison have made it to where that's Superman's true power. He's as strong and powerful as he needs to be in order to save the day. He regularly has said that he's strong enough to move planets, and he'll back all that talk up by doing just that, literally moving planets. He's teamed up with Captain Marvel to lift and read a book with infinite pages. So
it just goes to show you like how severely Superman holds back whenever he's fighting some fodders or low-level villains or intermediate, etc. Like, the guy is cracked, dude.
Literally infinity. He's teamed up with Wonder Woman to pick up the Spectre, who weighs literally as much as eternity. Then he's done a few things on his own before too, like holding a black hole in the palm of his hand, or pushing around a compressed solar system. And all that strength can definitely translate into how Superman throws a punch, regularly punching people around the planet, or even punching them from planet to planet. Each punch he throws is potentially powerful enough to split a moon in half. It's just that Clark very rarely decides to truly cut loose and let everyone see his true strength. And Superman can definitely take a punch as well. He's probably been punched around the earth more times than you can count, and been hit by all sorts of big-time characters. Darkseid, Doomsday, Wonder Woman, Superboy Prime, Martian Manhunter, you name them, Superman has taken a punch from them. And of course, that's not even mentioning being able to survive the destruction of planets, or an explosion 50 times bigger than a supernova, 50 times bigger than a star exploding. And there really is no way here for Ghost Rider to physically match up with Superman's physicality. Sure, Ghost Rider gets a boost in strength when he becomes Ghost Rider, but at best we're talking like 5 to 20 tons. Like enough to stop a car or throw around a big heavy machine. Absolutely nowhere near the planetary level strength Superman regularly operates in. Then unlimited strength if you just look at his way high-end feats. Johnny Blaze actually trying to physically fight Superman will be closer to like Batman trying to fight Superman than like Doomsday. And Batman regularly nearly breaks every bone in his hand just by trying to punch Clark. That is just not gonna go well. But of course, Ghost Rider was never meant to be a physical match for someone like Superman. That's not what he's about. As the spirit of vengeance, Ghost Rider is bounded with a spirit called Zarathos. Little bit of debate whether Zarathos is a demon or actually an angel, but either way, it makes Ghost Rider incredibly powerful when it comes to magic, specifically hell magic, like Hellfire, which is magical fire that actually burns both the body and the soul, or the Penance Stare, which replays all your transgressions over again, making you feel the pain of all that you've done. And it's really here where this fight will be decided. So here are a few questions that we now have to answer to see who would win this fight. We know that Ghost Rider can't physically injure Superman, but can Ghost Rider maybe injure Superman with his magic? Would Hellfire work against him? And specifically, would the Penance Stare work on someone as good and pure-hearted as the Man of Steel? Question number 1. Question number 2. Ghost Rider can't physically injure Superman, but can Superman injure Ghost Rider? Is Superman strong enough to just put down Ghost Rider right away? Magic or no magic, spirit or no spirit? So we've all heard before that Superman is weak to magic. That's right up there with kryptonite. He is weak to magic. But let me push in a little deeper there. What exactly does it mean to be weak to magic? Like, Superman can be killed by kryptonite, he can be depowered under a red sun, but with magic, well, it really means that he's just as vulnerable to magic as any other mortal. So, pretty high.
Yeah, I was about to get into that, to be honest, because one of the big issues for Superman in this matchup is his weaknesses to either kryptonite or magic. And I'm not going to sit here and act like I know everything with Ghost Rider, but I know he's a supernatural entity, and I would assume that consists of some elements of magic and so on and so forth, you name it. And if that even remotely has any forms of magic or anything to do with that, then Superman might be in some trouble. Just saying.
High-powered magic attacks, well, they can do some pretty high-powered damage. But weaker or smaller magic, well, Superman is tough enough to take it and keep on going in the fight. Problem is, this doesn't really give us a good gauge of just how durable Superman is to magic. I mean, you want the honest answer. He's as tough or as vulnerable to magic as the writer needs him to be in that specific instance. Still doesn't give us a great gauge, though. But looking at Superman's encounters with magic in the past, specifically Etrigan the Demon's Hellfire, and then how powerful Ghost Rider's Hellfire is, hurting Iron Man and Doctor Doom, hurting Doctor Strange and Hulk, Blaze's Hellfire is definitely something that can injure Superman, especially if he decides to go all out with it. But I think Superman is still tough enough and just has the willpower to keep on fighting. I don't think Hellfire alone is enough to beat him. But then what about the Penance Stare? This is Ghost Rider's kind of signature attack, and his most powerful. It allows Ghost Rider to look into your mind. Yeah,
the Penance Stare, by the way, he's going to explain it, but that thing is really cracked. It's kind of like a Tsukiyomi jutsu, like Itachi's MS ability, but in the Marvel universe. But like, and in its own sense of way, but that's as similar as it gets, though. You know, it's a really cool ability that he has, though.
And soul bombarding you with all the pain and
but it won't work on Superman, though. That I will say. Superman's too kind and too loving, and he's a very good person. That only works on an evil or criminal. So
suffering that you've caused others, and that's it. Simple as that. Some people think there are certain rules to how the stare works, like that the person has to have committed a sin or feel guilty for their actions, or even that Ghost Rider has to make direct eye contact. Well, nope, none of those are really true. Ghost Rider doesn't have to make eye contact. He can punish a whole city at once, and it has nothing to do with sin or guilt. Like here, Ghost Rider uses the penance stare.
Well, I did not know that he doesn't even require eye contact, and he could just do that in a massive radius. That's fucking crazy. Ghost Rider is cracked, dude. So he has some crazy, like, mental hacks capabilities. Wow.
On Blade, who at the time has the full power of the Darkhold. Yeah, that book from Doctor Strange, the little book that contains the Chthon's powers, the Elder God who created dark magic in the universe. And just look at some of the descriptions used here. Blade's experience is no different from the countless others who have felt the pain they have inflicted. No different, but 100-fold more severe. Every cell in his body explodes with the pain that he has inflicted upon his recent victims. He relives their deaths 1,000 times in the span of a microsecond. The experience threatens to shatter his mind. This is how it works. No matter if you're a good person or not, if you're guilty of some sin or not, none of that matters. All that needs to work is a soul, which Superman has, and if you've caused pain to others, whether for good or bad.
Oh, dang. So apparently it turns out, like, throughout the continuities that apparently they actually finally reveal how it actually fully works. And it turns out it just all it really requires is a soul. That's crazy. Damn, I thought Superman would be fine. That's crazy.
Reasons. Like, take Madcap, for example. Madcap is insane. So insane that he can drive other people insane with just a look. Madcap is also immune to feeling pain. And even with his neck snapped, he's just fine due to his Deadpool-like healing factor. So in short, he can't feel pain, and he's too insane to feel guilt or sin. Ghost Rider's penance stare still does him in. The penance stare is also able to put in Wolverine, even though Ghost Rider admitted that a lot of the pain that Wolverine has caused others was warranted and for a good reason. Penance stare still worked on him. Sure, sometimes the penance stare doesn't work. That's usually because the person doesn't have a soul, or people that are specifically immune to it, or people that are actually empowered by pain and suffering. Other times it hasn't worked because a writer doesn't understand how Ghost Rider's powers worked, or just didn't want it to work in that specific story because the move is just too overpowered. We can kind of write those off. Basically, Superman might be the Boy Scout, but the penance stare doesn't care.
So basically what he was getting at is the moments where it wasn't shown how it's actually supposed to operate. It's just it's basically retcon moments and so on and so forth. And like the Punisher bullshit, it's just that's not what should have happened. The writer just wasn't paying attention or following all the other Ghost Rider comics. So, alright, I get what you're saying.
About how you feel about what you did, or even why you did what you did. It just cares about what you did. And so it inflicts all the pain on you, and you've inflicted on others throughout your whole life. If it can work on a literal angel, then it can work on Superman. And if all that isn't enough to convince you and you want something more specific as to why it would work, the Spirit of Vengeance considers chasing a speeding car into a crowd of innocent bystanders a punishable offense. Even if you're trying to do the right thing, fighting a bad guy, exposing innocents to danger still makes it bad and punishable. So yeah, Superman falls under all this. So Ghost Rider can injure Superman with Hellfire. Ghost Rider can even beat Superman with the Penance Stare. But can Superman injure and put down Ghost Rider? Well, he's definitely injured a whole lot of magical beings in the past, regularly hurting them and sending them flying with just his fist. And Ghost Rider is plenty durable. He's taken a whole bunch of attacks from a whole bunch of people in the past. But he's very rarely fought against someone on Superman's level. And when he has, like with Hulk or Thor, well, Blaze has actually regularly been knocked out. Knocked out. And if Ghost Rider isn't able to get the Penance Stare off the very first moment in the fight, then I actually think this is exactly what would happen in this fight too. Superman lands a punch or two on Ghost Rider, and then Johnny Blaze is done for. Only problem is, that doesn't mean the fight is over. Because even if Blaze is knocked out, Ghost Rider still fights on. Except this time, Zarathos is in charge. And when this happens, well, Ghost Rider gets a pretty substantial power boost. Like, I'm talking the kind of power to take on the Avengers all by yourself. The kind of power that makes Hulk and Thor look like afterthoughts.
And the funny thing about that, bro, that reminds me of like Naruto in a sense. It's like, oh, you beat Naruto, but then now you gotta deal with the Nine Tails. Like, it's just two different entities. It's crazy.
At his best,
all I'm saying, that Ghost Rider booty, bro, that's crazy.
Par with someone like Mephisto, a demon of hell. And Mephisto is able to fight against Galactus. Now, in no way am I
okay, that's some crazy shit.
Saying that Zarathos is directly on par with Galactus. I'm just saying that Zarathos should be comfortably 2 or 3 tiers above Superman. And the only way to beat him is with some serious magic, some special magical artifacts.
Yeah, so that's a pretty big deal. So like, if it's like normal Ghost Rider or whatever, yeah, Superman fucking easy claps him, unless he could like get the Penance Stare ability before he gets knocked out or whatever. Then technically that could potentially give Ghost Rider a win con, unless you think Superman could endure all the pain and suffering he goes through. But let's say like we remove that, and let's say Superman subdues him, but then like the true Ghost Rider entity comes out. Not only is he weakening Superman on top of it because of his fire, whatever you name it, but then he's having to deal with that level of power and attacks, dude. Like, yeah, that's not looking too good for Supes, man. I'm just saying.
The powers of heaven or hell, that sort of thing. None of which Superman has. If Superman isn't instantly taken out by the Penance Stare, then he will knock out Ghost Rider. That's how it would play out. And once that happens, and Zarathos is unleashed, maybe there's an off chance that Zarathos doesn't fight Superman because he doesn't see Clark as someone worth punishing. But if they do end up continuing to fight, then there's really absolutely no chance here. Superman might be powerful, but he's not beat a demonic hell lord by yourself kind of powerful. Ghost Rider wins. But
Alright, a really good video. Honestly, my knowledge is very limited, so I can't fully like either, question like legit or try to imply as much transparency as possible or go like even potential debunk mode, but for at least from the evidence that he presented and everything that he discussed and so on and so forth, it seems like a pretty logical conclusion to me. So again, shout out to Mr. Daiko and so on and so forth. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below, and subscribe for more content discoveries on the channel. And let me know what you think. Do you think Superman still wins, or do you disagree with what his verdict was, or do you think Ghost Rider does take it because of what he said and presented? Very curious to see what you guys say. And if I'm being really all honest, like if you're even advocating for Superman remotely at all, I feel like the best thing really that you could even say remotely for Superman is simply like what he does with like the infinite pages and like, or just things that are just like really crazy like that, because then you can kind of just get you to where like, oh, maybe Superman does have all the power that he needs to be able to fight even someone as powerful as the entity of Ghost Rider. But it is really interesting because then when you see all the moments where Superman does cut loose whatever, he's not even remotely presented on like omnipotence level of power. That's the thing though, So like then it kind of gets you thinking. And so with that being the case, it's like, sure, all those feats are very, very impressive, but it doesn't mean he actually has like an insane level of power that you actually think he would have. Because let's be real, if Superman was really that fucking strong, like omnipotence level of power, there'd be no point of writing, bro. You know what I mean? Like everything would be resolved so easily, you know? So like overall, like Superman does have limits, etc. It's only like very rare occurrences or moments when Superman just like is able to do the impossible, right? Because that's just kind of what he's known for, you know? And the only other thing I can really think of is when like Superman like was flying through space without any suns, but somehow could still do all that, and then flew so fast and so strong that he was able to like one shot like the World Forger dude. And I don't know how powerful that guy is, but maybe that could also be something to be taken into consideration. Because I think the World Forger is like the goddess of creation's like kid or something like that, you know. And she's an omnipotent being at least, but I don't know. So like. There's that, but overall, I don't really have any issues with the conclusion process. But again, you guys let me know what you think. But as always, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like, etc., etc. Bye, man out. Peace.